Carol's Tuesday started out just like any other. She was 69, living in Tennessee, and she'd always kept a watchful eye on her money. Never bounced a check, always paid on time, made sure she had a little extra in her account. A couple of years back, she added her son to her checking account. Arthritis made trips to the bank tough, so this way he could help out if something came up. It was a choice a lot of people make, thinking it's just about convenience. But when she checked her balance that morning, $44,000 had vanished. Not stolen by a stranger, not siphoned off quietly in some late-night online scam. It was gone because her son, whose name was on the account, took it out. And when Carol called her bank, they stuck to the rules. If your name's on the account, you're allowed to take the money. No questions asked. End of story. Sadly, Carol's story isn't unique. Across the country, this same thing happens to thousands of people every year. Nobody gives you a heads up when you open a joint account. Not the real risks, not what joint actually means. The bank keeps the conversation light and simple, and by the time you find out what you've really signed, it's often too late. If you're new here, I'm Lana Means, and what I cover is exactly this stuff. The practical, sometimes hidden details that hit seniors hardest. So if you want the updates, the rule changes, the actual what to do steps. Subscribing here just makes sense. Let's talk about how joint accounts have turned into a financial minefield for families, and why banks never bother to warn you. The thing is, banks gain convenience from these accounts too. Joint accounts bring in more money, more fees, and every dollar is insured, but they don't need to spell out what joint actually means. Lots of people assume adding someone is like giving them a little power to help out. In reality, you're making them a full co-owner. Every dollar is as much theirs as it is yours. Not a helper, not an assistant, an owner. And that owner status now comes with even more baggage, because three key rules around joint accounts have changed. These haven't made headlines. You probably didn't get a letter. Most people only realize things changed when they're on the wrong side of it. The amount of money lost, just in these shared account situations, is enormous. Financial exploitation tied to joint accounts costs Americans $28 billion every year. And here's the kicker. 70% of the time, it's not an outsider. It's someone the victim already knows. Even if everyone working at your bank means well, they're paid to keep things simple and open. Nobody spells out the details at the counter, especially the legal mechanics most people totally overlook. From the second another signature goes on that joint account paperwork, you're not shielded at all. They can walk in and wipe out every cent, and it's not considered theft. People do this all the time thinking, if something happens, my family can handle bills or emergencies easily. Banks encourage the idea. What they don't say is that convenience could wipe out an entire lifetime savings for reasons completely unrelated to your wishes or what's written in your will. Here's where things now get really dangerous. First, the survivorship clause override. Most joint accounts are set up so, when one person dies, every dollar passes instantly to the surviving owner. No probate, no delay. It's automatic. That's always been true. What's new is, banks tighten the wording, and now these clauses can straight up override what your will says. So say you have 3 kids, your will splits things 3 ways, but only one kid's on your account. When you pass away, every cent in that account goes straight to that one child. The others get nothing, and there's no legal way around it. The paperwork at the bank wins, no matter how careful you were with your estate documents. It happens all the time now, and most families don't even realize until there's a fight at the worst possible moment. This is why old account agreements aren't enough. Even if you signed up decades ago, banks can update terms and send notifications hidden in the fine print. You're bound by whatever the latest version says, even if you never sign or even open the envelope. Next, creditor access expansion. This one really shocks people. Let's say your co-owner runs into financial trouble, a lawsuit, tax debt, unpaid loans. Now, because their name's on your joint account, their creditors can reach in and take your money to cover those debts. It doesn't matter who earned the money or who deposited it. It happened to Patricia, a retired nurse, after her son hit trouble with a failed business. She'd set up her account so he could help with bills, and after his legal mess, her life savings, $44,000, got frozen and partly taken by his creditor. And that's totally legal under current banking rules, which have gotten stricter over the years. The IRS, judgment creditors, sometimes even student loan collectors, they all have a path into these accounts. And don't overlook how this messes with Medicaid eligibility. When you need long-term care, Medicaid does a 5-year look back to see if you've given money away to dodge the asset limits. Every penny in any joint account can count as belonging to you and your co-owner for Medicaid's purposes, no matter who put the money in. People who added their adult kids just in case end up flagged for giving away assets, risking the care they desperately need. Let's be real. Every extra name on your account puts your money in reach of their problems, not just their trustworthiness, but their debts, failed marriages, tax messes, you name it. If you want to know how exposed you really are, don't go by memory. Pull up your account and ask yourself, do you truly know everyone's financial situation today? That brings us to the last and newest rule change, the exploitation access window. Banks quietly changed how they monitor joint accounts for fraud or suspicious activity. The trouble is, their software doesn't flag actions by a co-owner as suspicious because it's authorized by default. So, if your co-owner starts taking out money in an unusual pattern, the bank will just shrug. Disputing these withdrawals now takes longer. Sometimes the review can drag on for months, and banks can just say, "Sorry, both of you own the money, we won't get involved." In some cases, banks never resolve the dispute at all. This is especially hard on older couples. One spouse might start having memory trouble and fall for a phone scam. The scammer says, "You need to move your money for safety," and before anyone else can step in, boom, the whole account is drained. The bank won't catch it because an owner approved the transaction. Technology now makes scams even slicker. Spoofed phone numbers, fake voices, instant transfers. So these mistakes are almost impossible to stop once started. So what can you do? Here are 5 things, and you need to do them right away. Step 1. Call your bank and ask for the current joint account agreement. Not the one you signed 10 years ago, the current, in-force version. Read the survivorship clause yourself. Step 2. Sit down with your will and the account agreement. If you're not sure, take both to a lawyer, your local legal aid office, or use the state bar's resources. A short appointment could prevent the kind of mess that costs families years of heartache and a ton of money down the line. Step 3. Don't just add people for convenience. Instead, ask your bank about a durable power of attorney or a payable-on-death (POD) designation. A power of attorney means someone can help with money if you're in trouble, without ever owning a cent. POD keeps all your money yours until you pass, then moves it quickly to your chosen person without probate. Perfect if your concern is about tying up the estate. Step 4. Rethink how you set up your accounts. If you need someone else's help with day-to-day spending, keep just enough in a joint checking account to cover a month or 2 of expenses. Put your real savings in an individual account with a POD. That keeps joint access limited, but your core money is safe and out of reach from the other person's creditors. Step 5. Learn your state's joint account creditor exemption rules. Some states offer partial protection for Social Security or pension deposits, even in a joint account. Take 10 minutes to look up your own. What's protected? What's not? 10 minutes now can save tens of thousands later. One more thing worth asking about is a trusted contact. This is someone you authorize the bank to call if something looks off on your account, like sudden weird transactions. They can't take your money, but they can be a second set of eyes if things go sideways. And finally, check your own bank statements every single month. Don't wait for quarterly statements. Don't trust an automatic alert to tell you something's wrong. If you know what should be going in and out, you're the first person to notice when something doesn't add up. So, to be clear, the way joint accounts work now is not the way they worked a decade ago. 3 quiet changes mean your will could be useless, your money can be wiped out by someone else's financial troubles, and you'll get little to no warning if someone, deliberately or accidentally, drains your savings. None of this asked for your signature again. None of this was highlighted so you'd notice. You did the right thing when you set up joint ownership. The rules changed around you. Don't assume you're safe. Use these 5 steps, now, while you still have the choice. The hardest conversations are almost always the most important, especially when it comes to your money and your family. Don't wait for a crisis. This is your chance to make sure you and your loved ones actually stay in control.